If you examine yield curves, scrutinize the Treasury yield curve, Euro-dollar futures yield curve, German bunds yield curve, they're all reversed at present. Reversals simply denote that the longer-term rate is inferior to the short-term rate. We're observing an unprecedented global phenomenon, and it remains the most reliable single indicator of an impending recession. The last time a situation akin to this emerged was in 2007, right before the 2008 financial disaster. So, the stock market indicates everything is smooth sailing, a Goldilocks soft landing. The Fed will understand this. They'll decrease rates, pivot, and engage in stock purchases. Conversely, the bond market suggests the contrary. This is dire and will worsen. Unfortunately, it's now too late for the Fed to rectify this. When these reversals commence, at times they forecast a year ahead. For instance, watch out. Take a look at the Euro-dollar futures yield curve a year from now. Gosh, that thing is reversed. But as the actual concern approaches, the reversal edges closer and closer. Now, it's merely a month away or even less. So, it's akin to a significant red alert, a flashing signal, or whatever term you prefer. Alright, whatever your standard might be, likely treasuries, 2-year notes or 5-year notes, they will plummet significantly, not instantly. We might still be a month or two away from this scenario, but they will decline considerably. Conversely, corporate yields will surge substantially due to the recession, deteriorating circumstances, heightened bankruptcies, decreased revenues, etc. So, those spreads will widen. It's crucial to recall that interest rates trail behind other indicators. Everyone wonders, why are interest rates rising if we're in a recession? The explanation is, when the recession nears, who comprehends it first? Well, the Fed usually grasps it last. They're typically the last to discern it. Wall Street follows right after. The ones who comprehend the situation initially are genuine business people, entrepreneurs, restaurant proprietors, dry cleaners, taxi drivers, or even mid-sized businesses. They witness it firsthand. For example, if you're in the trucking business, it's immediate. If stocks are excessive and new orders are dwindling, goods aren't transported by truck. So, certain businesses function concurrently. The yield curves I mentioned earlier are incredibly reliable forward-looking indicators. They predict what's coming next. Many business individuals live in the present, in real time. They understand the current situation, while the stock market typically comprehends it later. However, concerning banking and credit, here's what transpires. If you're a business person and notice a downturn, fewer customers, etc., you seek maximum borrowing opportunities. You think, a severe recession is approaching. If I have credit lines available, I'll utilize them to the fullest. This rush to borrow creates a demand for funds. Consequently, interest rates soar. Later, when the recession hits and credit losses escalate, banks react, questioning what's occurring. They curtail lending and heighten standards, cease losses, and subsequently, interest rates begin to decline. Interest rates peak after the recession has already set in. Therefore, it's possible that even the Treasury market hasn't yet reached its pinnacle. That's not uncommon. Now, here's what the Fed might be overlooking, or perhaps everyone else is disregarding. When layoff announcements are made, people may wonder, if there are layoffs, why isn't the unemployment rate rising? Well, the answer lies in the necessity to announce layoffs. Various statutes require it. So, if a company plans to dismiss 10,000 employees, they must publicly announce it. However, this doesn't imply immediate termination. Layoffs might happen gradually over the following 30 days. Furthermore, those affected don't immediately flock to the unemployment office. The company might provide severance, 3 months, 6 months, etc. As a result, their appearance at the unemployment office might not occur until spring. Layoff notifications are indeed made public, but the unemployment rate remains unchanged due to a 3-month lag. That's why I highlighted that interest rates trail behind the business cycle. And they do. Unemployment lags behind the business cycle. Unemployment is a trailing indicator. When you're an entrepreneur or employer in distress, fewer customers, declining business, you strive to avoid layoffs at all costs. You delay rent payments, reduce expenses, search for cheaper alternatives, anything feasible. By the time layoffs become inevitable, you've exhausted all other options. Combining this with the discussion about severance and gradual terminations, it's clear that unemployment lags behind the business cycle. Nevertheless, we already possess sufficient knowledge to understand that the unemployment figure is rising. However, that doesn't contradict the fact that we're already entrenched in a recession. It aligns precisely with what's expected, that unemployment is a trailing indicator. As for the Fed's objectives, their primary concern isn't the stock market. Their focus revolves around maintaining an orderly market. That's the crucial aspect. When stocks decline, albeit at a gradual pace of 0.5% or 1% per day, showing lower highs and lower lows, the Fed isn't perturbed by that. They won't intervene to rescue the stock market. However, if the market becomes chaotic, that's a different story. For instance, in March 2020s, during the pandemic's peak, stocks plummeted approximately 30% in just 2 or 3 weeks. Similarly, during the fall of 2008, it appeared as though someone had opened a trap door. The Fed is concerned about such disorderly behavior because it can spiral into a scenario reminiscent of 1929.